welcome back. This is a large recipe for chicken tetrazzini. I'm also going to give you a smaller portion recipe, but I'll do the large one first, and it feeds up to 12 people. You're going to need 24 ounces of thin spaghetti, half a cup of flour, salt and pepper to taste, 1.5 cups of heavy cream, 1.5 cups of milk, 1 large onion, about 3 tablespoons of lemon juice, 1.5 cups of shredded cheese. I'm using Parmesan today, 1 pound of mushrooms, preferably button mushrooms, 4 chicken breasts, a stick of butter, half a cup of parsley, and 5 cups of chicken broth. Again, this feeds a whole crowd. So it's only 3 to 6 people. Even if it's only 2 of you, take the leftovers for lunch. 12 ounces of thin spaghetti, 1/4 cup of flour, salt and pepper to taste, 3/4 cup of heavy cream, 3/4 cup of milk, half of an onion, half a pound of mushrooms, half a stick of butter, lemon to taste. You don't really have to measure that. 2 chicken breasts and 2.5 cups of chicken broth. So let's get started with this dish. It's so good. So ideally, you would take your chicken breasts and roast them in the oven to get that really roasty flavor that just enhances the dish. Well, I didn't want to heat up my kitchen at the taping day. It was really hot. So I'm going to boil them. So I'm going to add a good amount of salt. Trust me, that's not a lot, but you want it to have flavorful chicken. Some black pepper, some red pepper flakes, and I'm gonna just crush some garlic, skin and all. I'm just gonna throw it in there. I just want the most flavor I can get from boiled chicken, and that's kind of hard to achieve. Roasting is the best way. So this is the end result after about boiling for an hour and a half. I'm then going to take my mushrooms, wipe them down with a wet paper towel. That's the best way to clean mushrooms. And I'm going to do a thick chop. I'm going to take my whole onion and do a medium dice on them. They're going to be sauteed and then they're going to be baked again. You don't want big chunks. About that size. Now I'm going to start my pasta. I'm going to add a very good amount of salt to boiling water. And I'm using 24 ounces of spaghetti. Thin spaghetti works out better, in my opinion. If you have just spaghetti, use spaghetti. It's starting to boil, so I'm going to get it all the way down in the pot. And then once I've got it all the way down in the pot, give it a good stir and it won't stick. In a saute pan, I'm going to add a little vegetable oil and start my mushrooms going first. I want to get all the moisture out of those mushrooms first before I start adding my other veggies. Once they've cooked down, I'm going to add the large onion that's diced and saute that in the pan. Now I'm going to smash up my garlic, and this is where you can vary with this dish. We love garlic over here. We are a garlic family. So those are probably 5 to 6 cloves of garlic that I'm smashing up, and I'm going to use all of it. And I take my time with my garlic. If you have a food processor, by all means use it. I just love chopping garlic. And I'm going to get it into a fine mince. I won't say crushed, but I'll just say a fine mince. About that range. So my onions are translucent. My mushrooms are continuing to cook down. I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic. And I'm going to cook it maybe 1 more minute. As soon as I smell that garlic hit the pan, it's done in that sense. And I'm going to turn the heat off. You'll know, even between the mushrooms and the onions cooking. My pasta is done. Gonna give it a drain. And then I'm going to stop the cooking process of the pasta and run it under cold water. Try not to touch it, so I'm just turning the colander around. And some people say, oh, you're rinsing out the starch. You really aren't. And it doesn't matter if you are. So to a stick of butter, I'm going to add the 1/2 cup of flour and start a roux. Just stirring until that melts. Now I'm going to start adding my liquid, 5 cups of chicken broth. I'm going to squeeze out a lemon and try and catch any seeds. Doesn't look like I have any. I love my lemon tree. That's about 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. 1.5 cups of heavy cream. 1.5 cups of milk. And you're gonna think, wow, this is too much liquid. It's not getting thick. Trust me, it will. So now to this Dutch oven, I'm going to add my mushroom, onion, and garlic mixture. And as you can see, I kind of pressed against the pan to not add any of the juices. It was done on a non-stick skillet, and it retains all the liquid, whereas another skillet, it probably would have cooked out. I'm gonna add my diced chicken, and all the while I have this on a medium to medium high heat. And don't panic if the sauce is thin. It's supposed to be like that. Gonna add my pasta. Whoops. It's all good. Now I'm gonna start incorporating this sauce, chicken, mushrooms, onion, garlic, all together with the pasta and the sauce. And I'm just gonna keep telling you the sauce is gonna be thin. Don't worry. When it comes out of that oven, it's gonna be nice and thick. Stir as much as I can there. Okay, so looking good again. The sauce is still on the thin side. Don't worry. I'm going to add the last of my seasonings now. I'm going to add some salt, black pepper, You can even throw in some red pepper flakes if you want to at this point. I'm not doing that. Definitely to taste. And last but not least, some fresh parsley. I'm going to get the stems off and rinse them really well. I have to admit, I did not grow up eating any dishes with parsley. I don't think my mother ever even bought parsley. But I'm telling you, when I took this out of the plastic, when it came home from the store and rinsed it, I could immediately smell it. I grew up thinking parsley was a garnish. It's so fragrant right now, and it's so important to add this dish. So please, please don't omit it. Please add the fresh parsley. You're going to taste it all through the dish. Get that mixed in. Last time I'm going to say it, okay? The sauce is still thin. Don't panic. So this pan doesn't require to be buttered or anything. This is an 11 by 14 baking dish, casserole dish. And it's okay if pieces are on the top and it doesn't look mixed up. Trust me, you can't mess this up. Dump it in that casserole dish and it's going to do its magic in the oven. The last thing you need to just do is add the cheese. And I used Parmesan cheese. You can use mozzarella. You can use cheddar, whatever you like. I'm gonna get that all over. I'm gonna use the whole 1.5 cups. And cheese is to taste. If you want less, fine. If you want more, add more. This is 1.5 cups of Parmesan cheese. So let's get this in an oven, 350 degrees. I preheated, and it's going to cook for 30 minutes. Not long at all. Just want the cheese melted, and that's long enough to thicken up that sauce and let it get mixed in with the pasta and do its magic, and out it comes. And I can't tell you how good it smells, and I can't tell you how good it tastes. You just have to try it for yourself. Thanks so much for watching, and of course my family loved it. See you next time.